Hi, it's me, Alex Varela again. Today is March 20th, 2016, and over the last week there were some interesting events that happened. Revelations from the voice as well. Well, last night was another bad night. I couldn't sleep very well. I'm going to explain that later. The same as usual, the four sections: events, people that I forgot to mention, confessions, events that took place over the last days, and my theories. In regards to events and people that I forgot to mention before, I was remembering at the end of 2008 I had a few appointments with a doctor called Michael Minogue at the New Street Medical Center at 393 New Street, Brighton. I can recall he acted weird sometimes, as he didn't want to see me or something like that, and made a comment once in reference to my height being 178 centimeters rather than 181, which is my actual height. I was surprised by that, and he said because of my age, I was 48 back then, I had shrunk over the years. He was actually talking about the original voice. Supposedly it was the year of her birth. The same thing did Paul Patterson at Matchworks last January. I also remember that I mentioned that to Betty, and she laughed about it. He ordered some blood tests to Cabrini Pathology at 183 Wattle Tree Road in Malden back in November 2008. The thing is that I couldn't pay their bill of $176.50 for those tests, and they sent the account to Ram and Associates solicitors at 88 Walker Street, Dandenong, and received a letter from them on the 29th of May 2009. I was unemployed back then, and that letter was telling me about their intentions of starting legal actions, of course, but never contacted me again. Perhaps the team paid that bill. It's possible. The same thing can be said about the laptop I bought at Harvey Norman and Moorabbin in South Road in 2007. I did it by agreeing to monthly payments to FlexiRent. It was $105.75 a month. The company in charge of the financing was FlexiRent, as I said before, and although my personal bankruptcy was declared in January 2009, I kept paying the monthly installment until March 2010 or something like that. I remember that I was talking regularly to a lady over there, but at some point it was impossible for me to keep paying them the monthly installments. But the neighbor chased me up for that, for the unpaid balance, and perhaps it was about $1,300 unpaid, outstanding. Perhaps the team paid it, very likely, according to what the previous boy told me before being replaced by the current one back in May 2015. On the 13th of June 2012, I went to sell my phone, a Sony Ericsson, to cash converters at Fountain Gate in the shopping center. They paid me $100 for that handset, which was actually a good price back then, but I got the impression the team bought it. On the 27th of September 2012, at the same store, not a very good price for an Olympus digital camera, only $15. On the 22nd of October 2012, following a job application I made over the internet for a company called Royal Guide Travel and Tours Inc., based on 193 Katipunan Avenue, Quezon City, Metro Manila, Philippines, I signed a job contract with them. Prior to that, I checked their website, which was www.royalguidetravel.com, and talked to the guy who contacted me over the phone. His name was Patrick Stevens. It seemed all legit, though. Back then I had a savings account with Bank of Melbourne. Actually it was St. George Bank, but they changed the name to Bank of Melbourne, at the branch in Waverley Gardens. I provided them with the details of my bank account. Basically it was transferring money It was about transferring money to them previously deposited into my bank account. I know there are a lot of scams on the internet on the same business, but it seemed legitimate to me back then. I needed some sort of income. I got a copy of the contract. I talked to the guy over the phone. There is a website over the internet, so it was pretty much, it sounds legit. I received a copy of the contract signed by Janice Merritt on the 23rd of October 2012, and on the 5th of November 2012 I received the first amount of $8,000, who I supposed to transfer through Western Union, in this case at Australia Post in Noble Park. My commission was 5%, which I should deduct from the amount to transfer. Instructions were $4,000 Australian dollars to Faustito Napoli and $3,695 to Maria Flor Arribado, both in Manila, Philippines. The thing is that the next day of the transfers, I received a call from Bank of Melbourne inquiring about the transfer and the amount of $8,000 that I already transferred. As a consequence, my account was suspended. I went to the branch here in Waverley Gardens, talked to the employees over there. I decided to close it down and open a new one at National Bank, which is the one that I still have with them. In regards to confessions and admissions made by the voice or the other voice, the voice is on the 13th of March is saying that, again talking about Dr. Cheng, my dentist, again, I don't understand his obsession with her. On the 16th of March, the voice is admitting again that the other voice is the previous one who is back, the one who used to identify herself as Carly and now pretends she is one of my family sometimes. He is also saying that all the salaries I got paid in Australia since our arrival have been paid by the team, by them. On the 18th of March, 16, the voice is telling me as I'm working on this video that Robert, the guy the employee from Centrelink that I see in the morning, that I saw in the morning, was unable to give me a receipt of the outstanding balance of the advance payment they gave me back in October last year, because their team paid for that advance payment, no Centrelink. This is what he said. In regards to events that took place over the last days, on the 13th of March, Hani continues parking his car behind mine again. On the 14th of March at 1:30 a.m. Hani put his lights into my room. I heard that he cleared up the package mess in the kitchen. The correspondence on the little table in the living is gone. Perhaps the rats at home delivered to Ralph personally. On the 15th of March, message from Masuda at Max Unemployment, as I call them, with the vacancies. She later recovered that email with several ones, recalling the first one. I talked to her over the phone and she couldn't give me any explanation as to what was the reason for that. Went to the mechanic, walking down the distance to the workshop. It's not very far away. Very nervous people on the street. When I got there, it was this guy, Ross, who, without seeing the car, told me that most likely the ignition coil pack was faulty. I told him that I bought the second-hand one on eBay, and I replaced the previous one last year, the end of last year, in December, something like that. Well, the thing is, the boys told me that before. So the boys told me that it was the problem with the ignition coil pack. And probably he told this guy about that. I don't know. But the guy told me that without seeing the car. On the 15th, the same day, later went to pick up the papers for Neil's loan at Good Money, Dandenong. Yvonne, who works for the team, according to the voice, I told her that I applied for the same loan several times before with the Spring Valley Center, actually 5 times, since March 2013 to March 2015. There was this form, a statutory declaration to be signed by the landlord, in this case Ralph, to be witnessed by a chemist or a police officer, who seemed to be the hardest requirement. I called him, explained the situation, and he agreed to sign it up and bring it to me before next appointment with Yvonne, which eventually he did. He brought that phone before that appointment. I mentioned him the problems with the Paki in the house. He said that he would talk to him shortly and perhaps ask him to leave. That's what he said. Later, I walked past in front of Matchworks 3 times. Went to Kmart, Dandenong Plaza. There were some black dudes staring at me. I don't know why. Though some idiots coughing. But it was most desperation more than anything else, I suppose. On the 16th of March, I went to Safeway by bus again, Waverley Gardens. Very serious and tense people inside. I don't know why, perhaps because of my videos. I don't know. They apparently haven't been seen much. So many times. I haven't seen them at all, I think. But I don't know. According to YouTube, is what I mean. At the counter, this ugly, fat employee was very rude. I'd like to clarify that I always pay my bill every time that I go there, and I never stolen anything from them at all. So I don't understand what their attitude. At 1:03 p.m., took the car to the mechanic, Cherry Automotive Electrics in Gladstone Road in Dandenong. This time Ross was not around, and Stanley, this time an older guy, I think the owner, told me that in order to raise a quote, he needed to scan the car again, something that I did before, to find the codes, and it would cost me $40. The other employees and himself were a bit tense, including the young guy who ended up running the little device on my car. It's a small computer plugged into the car. I started walking around the place because nobody was talking to me and explaining what happened with my car left unattended. The funny thing is that after long minutes, these guys came up with the same diagnostic. Either the ignition coil pack or the computer was faulty. So I decided to change both and said, look, I don't want to take more risk on this, although I have changed the ignition coil pack before, the one that I bought on eBay. Stan offered me a second-hand ignition coil pack for about totally $383 so to change everything and label and everything. The funny thing though is that they forgot to charge me the $40 for the scan. They have the team pay for it. I don't know. That is what they did apparently with the Niels, the Niels loans before at Spring Valley Center. Is what they told me. And other things as well. On that issue, I received in the mail the letter of cancellation of previous Niels loan, but this one not from the Spring Valley Center, but from Southeast Community Links instead. Apparently, they changed their name. On the 17th of March, another very noisy night from the rats at home. Talked to Ralph about it in the morning. He said that he's going to ask the Paki to leave, and also said he owes him money for the rent. I went to the appointment with Yvonne at Good Money at 10 a.m. I forgot all the keys inside my room for the first time in many years, because I was worried about catching up the bus. So that's the reason that I forgot the keys inside the room. Well, once there, when Yvonne, we went through the paperwork, she said the quote was not according to their stringent rules or policy. She also said that the cash flow I presented was a bit tight. I suggested to pay the remaining 2 installments of Centrelink advance payment in order to improve the cash flow. She said that would be good, but she believed it could be approved without it. It was only $76.50. I agree with Ralph for his father to bring me a spare key to the room when I go back. So he lent me the key to enter to go back into the room. Later, a phone call from Yvonne saying that the committee in charge of the assessment of my loan application came back with some extra requirements. A formal quote from the mechanic: last 3 months of a non-transactional savings account, an iSaver from National Bank, and it's not transactional because it can be used only over the internet, not on ATMs, or you cannot make any payments out of that account to anyone. And finally, they require me to make the payment for the outstanding amount of the Centrelink advance payment, the $76.50. Something that seemed to be the hardest thing to do, since I couldn't find the way to do it over the internet on the Centrelink website. So I called them, Centrelink, and after more than 1 hour over the phone, they hung up on me with their pre-recorded message saying that due to the emergency evacuation, I should call them some other time. That time it was 5:30 in the afternoon, so they were closed. I went to the mechanic to get a new quote. There was a different receptionist who made some menacing comments on why she said it's strange. I think she was not the receptionist anyway. About being cold outside and rubbish like that. The young guy of the other day was a bit cocky this time. Finally, Stan was able to produce a new quote from the computer. After that, I called Yvonne, good money, told her that I could send her the paperwork by email. She said it was okay. I asked Ralph about the Paki. He said that incredibly, after he said that he was going to kick him out, that he was going to clean after himself. He promised that. Reminded him about noisy lights, etc. He said that he talked to him. I replied, I'm going to start looking for another room. At night, neighbors across the road returned with their habit of full lights, as it was at the beginning of this livelihood. Even after the exchange of emails with Ralph on the 17th of March, the Paki forgot to flush the toilet, number 2, as he did numerous times before. I noticed that some spam emails are being read before I do. Also, I haven't received any email from Gumtree in regards to rooms for rent in the area for many weeks now. So the team is being more reckless in the handling of my email address, I suppose. On the 18th of March, terrible weather, appointment at 10:30 with Masuda at Max Unemployment, as I call him, rainy and windy. Walked down the streets to the bus stop. The PTV, the Public Transport Victoria app, didn't show any buses at that time in the morning, around 10 a.m. So I called them 1-800 number. Their 1-800 number. The guy was about to come back with an answer when I saw the bus approaching. The tension on the streets remained high despite the wild weather. Honking horns, turning headlights on, stopping in front of me, etc. At the agency, Masuda was at the reception. I explained to her that latest developments in regards to Neil's loan to fix my car and pay the registration, etc. She said that $800 was too little, and asked me if Centrelink was not able to help me at all. I told him that I already received the advance payment of $500, which is on an annual basis, last October, and no further assistance was available, and no bank was able to offer me any credit card as well, due to my low income. That despite the step-up loan granted by them, good money, back in 2013, something that was not difficult to understand. Then, unless the team pay for that, which is the most likely explanation. Then she said that I should go myself and log into the Max Connect in the office. It was meant to last, the appointment should last 30 minutes only. So I did. But quickly it became clear that no vacancies were available near my address. So I told her that. She replied with a list of agencies and recommended me one especially called Zoom. Coincidentally, the same Hani mentioned a few weeks ago. While there, I took some pictures of some regulars who show up every time I go over there. First time I attend to a job agency. It's the first time that I attend to a job agency which plays loudly rap music, by the way. Although it was a Friday. Perhaps it was because of Friday mood, I don't know. We agreed to a new appointment for next Thursday, the 24th at 9:30. This time it will be a group session with Dean. I asked her about last week's email being recalled several times to her. She said that she made a mistake, since the vacancies listed on that email were the same available on Max Connect. I went to Centrelink after that, and there was this angry female employee who dealt with my inquiry. I think Kate was around, the lady who gave me that unwanted 1 year break from appointments with job service providers that I mentioned before. But I didn't want to look at her. It's always the same with these guys. So the very upset employee told me that I needed either a check or cash for the exact amount that was outstanding of the advance. It was $76.50. So I went to NAP branch inside Dandenong Plaza. The cashier there seemed to know me. Other people started coughing desperately inside the branch. After that, I walked down back to Centrelink under pouring rain at Lonsdale Street. When I was crossing Lonsdale Street, looked towards Matchworks, and there were several employees on the walk path. Some female employees laughing and out loud. I smiled back to one of them, who seemed very worried, and raised her hand, as it is shown on my last video. The last one, I'm with the hand like that. I don't know why. Probably she watched that video and was trying to tell me something. I kept walking, and a young guy started walking alongside. At some point, he asked me if I knew where Scott Street was. I told him I wasn't sure about that, and kept walking. The guy who took another direction came back and walked past in front of me when I was approaching Centrelink entrance. Already inside, talked to the same female employee who told me this time to sit down, and I would be called to finish the business of the outstanding balance of the advance payment. After long minutes with some strange faces sitting around me, Robert called me just when I started writing on my Twitter account. He told me he couldn't offer me a receipt, but a new income statement instead. He looked a bit nervous as he was explaining that to me, and that it would be enough for Yvonne and good money, is what he said. So I went to see Yvonne with this new income statement, walking down my way to the office under heavy rain. She looked at the document and said that it was exactly the same as the one that she already had. So it wouldn't make any difference to have this one. I started to get really angry about the whole situation when I offered her to have a look at the Centrelink app on my phone. She agreed by asking me to take a screenshot of the website because I had this and because I had this iPhone since last October. I never had one before. I always had Android mobile phones. I never had this. I never had to take any screenshot, and obviously didn't know how to do it. So she said that she didn't know it either. So I offered her to log into the Centrelink website on one of these their computers at the office. But she suddenly, it's like remember how to do it and told me how to take the screenshot on my phone. That was either a miracle or perhaps the voice instructed her beforehand. I think it's most likely the latter. Approval or rejection of the loan will be decided by Tuesday or Wednesday next week, she said. She also appreciated the effort of giving her the rest of the paperwork under such terrible weather. Well, firstly, I need my car fixed ASAP. Secondly, I had an appointment with Max Unemployment before that day, and I couldn't avoid it. And thirdly, next week is a short one because of Good Friday. But she didn't mention anything. It's always mind games from these bitches, it's always the same thing. But she didn't mention anything of our chat last Wednesday over the phone, when I told her that I had been kept unemployed by the police and government of this place, who support instead drug traffickers and money launderers. She didn't say a word about that. I forgot to mention that while I was sitting at Centrelink, the team sent me a WhatsApp message saying Vicky was not going to be able to call me on Saturday without giving me any reason whatsoever this time. On the 18th of March, the package was talking loudly over the phone for an hour around 3 a.m. at the front door. So of course, he woke me up. sent a text message to Ralph about it. Later in the morning, about to prepare my breakfast, noticed that the front door was wide open. So the Paki was the last one. So Hani never did anything like that before. Perhaps he instructed him. It could be possible. In the afternoon, a message from Ralph saying he received my messages and let the Paki know about it. Let's see how we go, but I don't think it will be the end of it. Today, last night, like I said before, I look a bit tired because last night was a heated argument between Hani and the Paki after midnight, with the latter, the Paki leaving the house, return at 3 a.m., and more noises, another bad night. I couldn't sleep, so I sent another text message to Ralph about it in the morning, but no answer yet. In regards to my theories or conclusions, one of the most important conclusions is that the team around me has become more defiant, I would say, in the sense that they are not trying to hide what they're doing, meaning the management of my email address, the correspondence for Ralph disappearing from the little table without him coming by the house, the ridiculous behavior about the Paki, with Ralph saying one day he's going to kick him out and the next changing suddenly his mind. I also told him about the police coming on the 4th of March looking for him. He was a bit worried about that, but he changed his mind, and now apparently he was willing to keep him in the house. Perhaps, and this is my best theory, they are desperate or not having a clear direction. Well, the conclusion is that according to some attitudes and comments on the street, like the one with Yvonne and Gulmani, or the workshop with the receptionist, it seems that somebody convinced the team that I am an easily influenced man, and nothing further from the truth about that. And there are many proofs of that throughout the last 6+ years of my life. After recent and repeated problems with the rats at home, staging these kind of shows like the one last night, because it was fabricated. I'm pretty sure of that last night again. I think that the team want me to publish these videos. Believe it or not, they changed their mind, and they want me to publish these videos and use me to tell things that they want to express. They're trying to conceal this with these shows at home. I don't know, it's a theory, but let's see what happens over the next days. For now, I think it's enough. I'm going to prepare the other one in Spanish with the different things to tell. But for now, that's it. That's all. So I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.